Thank you all so much for stopping by today. So, I wanted to start a gardening series where I'll be walking you through step by step everything you need to start, grow, and maintain a flourishing garden. So, I'm going to make a start here if you're new to gardening playlist. So, go ahead, hit the subscribe button. But then I want you to grab your notebook. I want you to take some notes because these videos are going to build on each other. And don't be afraid to rewatch the videos as you continue to grow. Each time something new is going to click for you. So let's go ahead and let's dig in because before you plant a single seed, there are three things every beginner gardener has to know. So before you plant that first single seed, I want you to hold up. Don't grab your trowel just yet because most beginner gardeners fail before the first seed even hits the soil. And trust me, I've made that mistake more than once. But today, we're going to fix that. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing three things every beginner gardener needs to know before planting a single seed or even a plant. So by the end, you'll have clarity, you'll have confidence, and you'll have a solid plan without wasting time or money. So I've been seeing so much gardening info floating around online. And while a lot of it helps, I've also seen people get frustrated or even quit when something doesn't go how they imagine. That's why this series exists to guide you through real practical steps that work no matter where you're starting from. Here's the thing, gardening is a journey. It reminds me of math class back in the day. We learned to solve a problem one way. And now when I see these kids doing math and the way they're solving these problems, I'm like, what? Okay, I'm not sure about that. But here's the thing, the answer still comes out the same. It's just their way of doing it. And that's what gardening is. There's more than one right way to get to where you need to go to grow. So take notes, rewatch the videos, and give yourself permission to learn because wherever you are in your gardening phase, you can grow something beautiful. So the first thing you got to know is your space. Where are you actually going to grow? Because where you plant determines everything, how your plants grow, how much they produce, and how easy they are to care for. One full day, y'all, to just observe. Watch how the sunlight moves from morning to evening. Notice the shade, notice the wind, and where the water collects. And I'll tell y'all something real quick. It does get a little bit different with the seasons. Now, if you get 6 or more hours of sun, perfect for veggies. If you get a little bit less, you can do herbs, you can do leafy greens, and some flowers still will love it. And I don't want y'all to think that you need this big backyard to be able to grow. You could do containers, raised beds, even balconies, patios, all of this counts. Start small and grow smart. So when I stayed in Italy, I knew better. I still planted tomatoes where it received morning sun and it was shaded. But since I had the most room in that space, I still planted them there and bless my heart because they barely made it. They barely made it, y'all. And so the next season, I knew where they needed to go. But I thought back then that sunlight was optional. No. Depending on what you're growing, sunlight is essential. Every gardener has a growing zone based on how cold it gets in the winter. That number tells you what to grow and when to plant it. For me, here in Georgia Zone 8A, I can plant cool weather crops like kale and lettuce starting around the end of February, and warm weather vegetables like tomatoes and peppers probably around mid April. But if you're in zone 5 or 6, your schedule is going to look totally different. This is why I always say no matter where you are, it's important to know your first fall frost, your last spring frost, and your growing zone based on where you stay. not where you see other people growing on the internet. Now, I always spend a full day just watching the sun before planting anything. So, you got homework. So, your homework is, if you don't know this, I want you to look up your first fall frost, your last spring frost, your growing zone, and I want you to plant them on, put that on the calendar, because that's going to be your planting window. Once I learned my growing zone, it changed everything. I stopped losing plants to late frost and I started growing with the seasons. My harvest got bigger, my stress got smaller, and I finally felt like I was becoming like my grandmother, which that's what I strive to be like. Okay, y'all? So now this one is the heart of it all. You've got to know your why. Everyone's reason is going to be different on why they want to garden. Maybe you're growing to save money, maybe it's therapy, maybe it's the beauty or teaching your kids where food comes from. But knowing your why is what keeps you going and growing, especially when things don't go as planned. So when the pests show up or your plant doesn't perform how you imagine, your why is going to keep you grounded. It reminds you that gardening isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And your why, it can change, and that is okay. Because when I first started, it was because I couldn't find a job overseas as a military spouse. I had extra time, I needed something to do that just really gave me a purpose. It's only so much cleaning and cooking you can do. But now my why has grown just like my plants. So today, I garden because I want nourishing, rich food. There's so much being added to the food today that just don't belong there. When I grow it myself, I know what's in it, how it was cared for, and the love behind it. And y'all, not only does it taste better, it feels better. Knowing I'm feeding my family something real. That's why that's my why today. Yours might look different, and that's okay. But I want you to write it down. I want you to hold it close, and I want it to let it guide you. Let it guide you through those tough days, because your why will keep you growing long after the gardening excitement fades. I want this series to meet you wherever you are starting. If you're starting fresh, if you're restarting after a hard season, or if you're just curious to grow something new. Remember, this is a journey, it is not a race. And to help y'all get started, I created a free 7-day quick start gardening guide. It's packed with daily steps, beginner tips, and encouragement to build confidence as you grow. So I want you to click that link below, and I'm also going to pin it in the comment. I want you to download it. I want you to print it out. I want you to follow it along during your gardening journey. When I first started gardening after I left home, I used to rush every year. I was buying seeds, y'all, and I was just hoping for miracles, okay? But all I got sometimes was stress. I did. Once I slowed down and I learned my space, I learned my zone, I learned my why, everything changed. And I want the same to be for you as well. My garden now is peaceful, it's productive, and it's personal with a few pests sprinkled in. So before you plant a single seed, y'all, I want you to know your space. I want you to know your zone. I want you to know your why. And if this video has helped you in any type of way, subscribe and join me in the next video in this series, which is Understanding Soil the Easy Way. And don't forget to download your free 7-day quick start guide, because it's going to be perfect to get your garden growing strong. So remember, your why might change, your garden will grow, but the journey, that is what makes it all beautiful. So as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. Make sure you share this video with your family and your friends. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead, tap that subscribe button. Make sure you tap the bell so that you can receive notification each and every time we upload a new video. Again, thank you all so much for watching. And until the next video, bye bye.